Did you have that phrase? What was it again? Bleach blonde.
Bad built.
Bad built.
Butch body.
Butch body. Was that floating around in your head before this?
No.
No. Holy cow, that just came out? She attacked you personally.
She did.
Yeah, she started it.
She did.
It was very amazing to see Marjorie Taylor Greene get toasted to the crispiness of a bonfire marshmallow. Together, Jimmy Kimmel and Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett gave MTG a generous portion of humble pie, and I must say that it tasted great. Though Crockett and Greene engaged in a duel, let's focus on the true highlight of this political spectacle, the outrageous statement Crockett made. In a field of bland tweets, that phrase went viral. Crockett barely had time to recover her breath when her phone started to light up like a Christmas tree. She had to be warned to give him a heads up the next time so he wouldn't do a spit take with his holy water. Her pastor was first in line, undoubtedly thinking, "Lord have mercy, what has my congregant done now?" But the internet wasn't the only place that went crazy.
Did you hear from everybody then afterwards in your life? Because I was like, okay, we have to put this on the show right now.
My pastor actually called me while we were in the hearing. And so I sent him the voicemail and I was like, I'm in a hearing. And he was like, I know. So, my pastor, he follows me on social.
Gotcha.
So I did not know. And there were some other people from home that were texting me oh my gosh. And I was like, okay, they follow me. So my team put it up.
Crockett's quick wit had even the stuffy suits on the other side of the aisle tipping their hats. Imagine the following: poker-faced Republican politicians suddenly becoming ardent supporters. Like kids swapping notes in class, they're winking across the aisle and sending cryptic texts. "Hey girl, nice burn. Don't tell anyone I said that, though." It's as though Crockett had unintentionally wandered into a cool kids' political club that she was unaware even existed. She can be having a passionate fight one minute and then be receiving political high fives from both sides of the room the next.
Last month, a memorable exchange with Marjorie Taylor Greene in the House Oversight Committee added a colorful new phrase to the congressional record.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling, if someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad-built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
A plot twist, that is. Not to mention the influence of social media on all of this. As soon as Crockett's group pressed the post button, the video clip became viral, disseminating like wildfire during a small-town bingo night. The excitement had taken Crockett by surprise. She was probably assuming that it would just be another ordinary day at work when all of a sudden her phone started ringing like she had won the lotto. This entire episode merely serves to demonstrate that occasionally, well-crafted speeches don't have the greatest impact in the political sphere. Indeed, it's the spontaneous, spur-of-the-moment remarks that truly spark conversation. Though she may have entered the hearing as simply another person in the crowd, Crockett left with a following that cut across political boundaries and was dubbed the Queen of the Clapback. Jasmine Crockett had just given MTG a dish of hot word salad, but it was only the appetizer. The primary dish? At the committee hearing from hell, there was an abundance of confusion, turmoil, and hilarious moments. Imagine that this is a typical day on Capitol Hill, with legislators prepared to question Attorney General Merrick Garland. However, rather than kicking off at 11 a.m. as proper humans would, they choose to start at 8 p.m. Why? Because some of these jokers felt that supporting Trump in New York was more important than doing their real jobs.
Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about AG.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about, I guess.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
Can you tell us what led up to that? Or is there anything that we didn't see that precipitated that?
No, it's just that Marjorie is a little slow. There was a lot of time that passed.
Okay.
So they were supposed to either kick her out or she was supposed to apologize. He then also revealed in that hearing that he has 2 hearing aids. So he was like, if y'all didn't realize I got 2 hearing aids, I can't hear.
Bless her heart, Crockett would not have it. While her colleagues were playing hooky, she had been cooling her heels all day, eager to get to work. Is it unreasonable to find her a touch sour? She said, so now I'm upset because it's already late at night. I've been here all day ready to work, y'all aren't here, and you're still talking about that failed trial. Hold on, things get better. In her infinite wisdom, MTG determines that this is the ideal moment to attack a random judge. It appears as though she entered the incorrect hearing and began reading from the incorrect script. Crockett had to inquire if MTG comprehended the situation, possibly asking if she had entered the Twilight Zone. According to her, I had to ask her if she understood because she's not the brightest. Now, one would hope that someone would intervene and restore order. False. The chairman was about as handy as a chocolate teapot, bless him. It transpires that he wears hearing aids and was only able to hear half of what was said. Consequently, the man in charge is sitting there like a bewildered puppy while MTG is going crazy and Crockett is attempting to make sense of it all. The entire circus performance continued for some time, with Greene criticizing Crockett directly and the chairman stumbling around as if he had misplaced his glasses. It's like to witnessing a three-ring circus, only with politicians vying for the most absurd act rather than skilled performers. Crockett is enmeshed in this situation and perhaps wondering if she can reverse her entire career decision. She clarified that a significant amount of time had passed between her now famous return and Greene's attack. It was like watching a train crash in slow motion, though, as the chairman seemed to be having trouble hearing and to have forgotten how to handle his gavel.
Most people don't know is that on this particular day, we were supposed to have our hearing at 11 a.m. So we're supposed to be talking about AG Merrick Garland, and she starts talking about Judge Merchan. Instead, it wasn't until like 8 p.m. Like they were trying to compete with you for like ratings, I guess. So now I'm upset because it's already late at night. I've been here all day, ready to work. Y'all aren't here. What it was is that they had gone to New York because they wanted to be by Trump's side as he was in trial.
So you had to wait for that?
So we had to wait for them to come back.
You know, people, it turns out that MTG isn't only making Democrats crazy. Lots of Republicans are also losing their minds about her. Who would have guessed that Congress could come together in mutual eye-rolling like the Queen of Cannon? Following Congresswoman Crockett's verbal abuse, an intriguing event transpired behind the scenes. In the corridors, Republican colleagues were surreptitiously giving her high fives. Is it really true? GOP ladies are slyly winking at her, and Republican guys are sending her direct messages saying, "Nice job." It's as if they're at a middle school dance and are trying not to be discovered socializing with the opposition. Tears fell from Crockett's lips as he said, "Her people don't like her either." Imagine being so obnoxious that people in your own group begin to support the opposing team.
Is she the dumbest person in the House of Representatives?
I'd be hard-pressed to find someone dumber.
I get the sense that it's not just Democrats that don't like her.
Oh, no. Like, her people don't like her either.
Her people don't like her either.
I do have a few text messages from some Republican men, and then I've had some Republican men walk up to me and say, "I love your eyelashes."
It appears as though the Patriots have abruptly taken a liking to the Jets. When it does, you know things are not right. The really shocking thing, though, was when Crockett said, "I'd be hard-pressed to find someone dumber in the entire House of Representatives. Considering some of the yahoos we have in Congress, that says something. It says like MTG prevailed in a competition to have the lowest IQ. What does this all mean for old Marjorie, then? It does not appear good. When you've got both sides of the aisle giving you the stink eye, it's going to be tough to get anything done. It's like trying to organize a potluck when nobody wants to eat your casserole. Good luck getting co-sponsors for your Jewish Space Lasers Protection Act when even your own party is ducking into supply closets to avoid you." This bipartisan disdain could seriously mess with MTG's mojo in Congress. She might find herself sitting alone at the political lunch table, with no one wanting to trade snacks or support her crazy ideas. It's going to be real hard to push through any nutty legislation when your colleagues are too busy pretending their phones are ringing every time you walk by. And let's face it, in politics, you need friends to get stuff done. But MTG's making about as many friends as a skunk at a perfume convention. She's burning bridges faster than a pyromaniac at a matchstick model competition. At this rate, she'll be lucky if she can get someone to co-sign on a lunch order, let alone a bill. Now, while MTG was busy making a fool of herself in Congress, our favorite late-night host was cooking up some comedy gold. Jimmy Kimmel, the master of political roasts, couldn't resist taking a swing at the bleach blonde menace herself.
I guess the president, his campaign, people saw this and they said, "We need to send you out on the road to spread the good word."
Not about bleach blondes.
Right.
No. I really have.
For sure, because he's running against one.
But the reality is that the only way we get anything done is if there is a strong team in place. And I can tell you that I have the best team that money cannot buy.
You know, Kimmel's got a special talent for coming up with nicknames that'll make you spit out your coffee. He introduced Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and couldn't help but mention her viral takedown of MTG, but here's where it gets good. Kimmel didn't just stop at repeating Crockett's bleach blonde, bad-built butch body zinger. Oh no, he had to add his own special sauce to the mix. Picture this, Kimmel and Crockett, two peas in a pod, giggling like school kids as they brainstorm new ways to describe our favorite Georgia peach. Horsehair Hitler, mean, come on. But here's the thing about Kimmel's brand of humor. It's not just about getting laughs. It's like he's serving us a political commentary sandwich with a side of giggles. He's got this knack for taking these heavy, frustrating political situations and turning them into something we can all chuckle at. It's like he's saying, hey, I know this stuff is crazy, but let's laugh about it together. And you know what? It works. Kimmel's audience eats it up like it's the last slice of pizza at 2 a.m. There's something about his approach that just clicks with people. Maybe it's because he's not afraid to call a spade, or in this case, call a Greene a bleach blonde, bad-built butch body. But let's be real for a second. Kimmel's not just throwing out random insults for the heck of it. His humor's got a bite to it. When he's crafting these over-the-top nicknames, he's actually shining a spotlight on the actions and statements of these political figures. It's like he's saying, hey, look at this nonsense. But instead of just getting mad, we get to laugh about it. And that's the secret sauce of political humor, folks. It's not just about making us chuckle, although that's a big part of it. It's about giving us a way to process all this political madness without losing our minds.
It's about making sure that we've got the House Democrats and that we end up with the Speaker Jeffries instead of MAGA Mike, right? I've got to do what's right for me. So when you look at what people are offering, what their platform is, whether it's, aligned with making sure that the convicted Orange Jesus still know that housing is a struggle. So many people are not able to build that generational wealth because they can't buy a home right now because of interest rates.
Kimmel's style of comedy is like a pressure release valve for all the frustration and anger we feel when we watch the news. All right, folks, while we've been laughing our heads off at Marjorie Taylor Greene's expense, let's not forget there's some serious stuff going on behind all this political theater. Jasmine Crockett isn't just here to roast MTG. She's got some big ideas about how to actually make things better for regular people like you and me. Now you might be thinking, oh great, another politician making promises. But hold on a second. Crockett's not just talking about individual candidates here. She's saying we need to focus on the whole team, Democrats in the House, Senate, and White House. Why? Because that's how you actually get stuff done in Washington. Let's talk housing for a minute. How many of you are struggling to buy a home right now? Yeah, I thought so. Crockett's not pulling any punches on this one. She's calling out the sky-high interest rates and insane housing costs. But wait, it gets worse. Remember SNAP benefits? The program that helps people put food on the table? Well, guess what the Republicans want to do? Crockett says they're looking to slash a whopping $30 billion from the program. That's billion with a B, folks. And get this, people are already only getting about $6 a day. $6. That wouldn't even buy you a fancy coffee at Starbucks, let alone feed a family. Now here's where things get really interesting. Crockett's painting a pretty clear picture of the difference between Democrats and Republicans.
Really just doing the research and saying, I deserve a better America, a more perfect union. And does it look like divisiveness? We need to cut $30 billion in SNAP benefits when people only get $6 a day in the first place? Or does it look like someone who at least may not be perfect and I may not agree with wholeheartedly, but I know he's at least working for me?
On one side, you've got Democrats trying to make life a little easier for the average Joe. On the other, you've got Republicans apparently determined to make life harder for anyone who's not a millionaire. But here's the kicker. Crockett's actually encouraging voters to be selfish. Yeah, you heard that right, but not in the grab everything you can and screw everyone else kind of way. She's talking about being selfish in a way that actually makes things better for everyone. It's like when you're on a plane and they tell you to put your own oxygen mask on first. You've got to take care of yourself before you can help others. So what does all this mean for you and me? Well, Crockett's basically saying we need to wake up and smell the political coffee. It's not just about laughing at the latest MTG gaffe or getting worked up over the outrage of the day. It's about looking at the big picture and asking ourselves, who's actually working to make my life better? It's a tough question, and let's be honest, sometimes it feels like nobody in Washington is on our side. But Crockett's arguing that if we want things to change, we need to start by putting the right team in place. And by right team, she means Democrats. Love them or hate them, that's her pitch. So while Kimmel and Crockett were busy roasting MTG like a marshmallow at a campfire, you might be wondering what happened after all the laughs died down. Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because the aftermath of this political comedy special was wilder than Trump's hair in a hurricane. First off, MTG's response to getting dunked on harder than LeBron James in his prime? Crickets. That's right. The usually loudmouthed Congresswoman suddenly lost her voice. Maybe she was too busy Googling, "What's a GED?" to clap back. Or perhaps she was just shell-shocked that someone finally put her in her place without needing a time machine or a box of crayon. But while MTG was playing the silent game, the public was having a field day. Social media lit up like a Christmas tree on steroids. Memes were flying faster than fake news at a MAGA rally. People were sharing Crockett zingers like they were the last slice of pizza at a frat party. And let's talk about Crockett for a hot second. This lady went from relatively unknown to political rock star faster than you can say, "I yield my time to the gentlewoman who actually graduated high school." Her inbox was probably overflowing with high fives and virtual fist bumps. Even some Republicans were giving her the old wink-wink, nudge-nudge. One of them apparently said, "I love your eyelashes." Now that's what I call reaching across the aisle. But it wasn't just politicians patting her on the back. Crockett's pastor was one of the first to hit her up after the exchange. Can I get an amen for speaking truth to power? And speaking of power moves, the Biden campaign saw this viral moment and thought, hot damn, we need to get this woman on the road.
You may find yourself in a situation like this again, and I know now they're selling shirts that say...
That's right, we're raising money.
Tank top, tramp stamp, truck stop, trader top. Hoagie head, horsehair, Hitler happy, hate hobbit. On hot pocket, gazpacho, goblin, guinea pig.
Faster than you can say election season, Crockett was out there spreading the campaign message like butter on hot toast. As for Kimmel, well, this was comedy gold served up on a silver platter. He was probably giggling all the way to the ratings bank. His show became the go-to spot for political sass. This viral moment turned into a serious political weapon. Crockett used her newfound fame to remind folks about what really matters. You know, boring stuff like policies and voting and all that jazz. She was all, hey, don't just focus on the names, look at the whole team and what they're offering. It's like she was trying to teach political science in the middle of a comedy club. And because no political moment is complete without someone trying to make a buck, merch started popping up faster than you can say capitalism. T-shirts with Crockett's viral phrase were being hawked to raise funds. Because nothing says I support democracy like wearing a shirt that roasts a congresswoman, am I right?